Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm looking at some more of the Transformers Generations Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 collection. Here I've got the rest of the Wave 1 Deluxes and Voyagers. So we've got Blurr, and this is a remold of the Studio Series Blurr that's trying to attempt to look like more like the IDW design. We've got Road Hauler here as the other Voyager that was accompanying Override. And Road Hauler is obviously a repaint of the... there we go. Yeah, that looks real nice. I mean, the colors on him do look very, very nice. But Road Hauler here is a repaint of Grapple. Then we've got Clampdown here. Clampdown's looking pretty good. And this is obviously like Sideswipe Red Alert redone. And last but not least, and probably the toy that I want to pay the attention the most to, is Diaclone Universe Burn Out. Burn Out here looks pretty neat. This is obviously a repaint of the Legacy Deluxe Class Skids. And Skids is not a figure I was planning on grabbing a hold of. And so I figured, well, let's get this repaint, and it does look really nice. So the reason why I'm doing this as a set, it's not, I guess there's not real any logic other than I'm trying to like get through my figures and my backlog a little quicker. So I figure I'm going to do this as a set, talk about the figures I'm going to keep, and then talk about the figures I'm going to do a giveaway on. So we'll go left to right here. We're going to start with IDW Blurr here. And Blurr here, let me put up a picture of what the IDW alt build looks like. You can see it doesn't look a ton like this. These exhausts are much bigger. They've got like fans in the back. I feel like this front portion is smaller. He does have these tires. So essentially you take this off and it's like these tires should be big enough, and obviously they don't spin because they're just painted plastic detail, that they hold up, and then the back of him hovers, I guess, is the idea. It's a neat Cybertronian design. This toy, I feel like, doesn't do it very well. This, to me, is just an odd-looking Studio Series Blur with, like, the colors are nice. I like this, like, cool gray. I wish these tires spun and they were bigger. It just doesn't do a lot for me besides the like already Studio Series Blur we've got. And let me show them next to some other blurs. So here we've got the Speedia 500 Blur. Here we've got Shattered Glass Blur, so you can see the remolding that happened. Like, it's pretty significant, right? This back section here has been remolded. These front sections here, this front section here. So there's been a significant amount changed, not a ton in bot mode, but it just doesn't do enough to like differentiate itself to me. It still does that weird thing where like there's this break here that doesn't really make sense because no one's like sitting back there. I wish this was like a smoother transition. But yeah, I guess they're trying to evoke the IDW design, and the IDW design itself evokes another blur. So here we've got animated Blur, and we can see these two together, and here you can kind of see like where they're getting these tire designs ideas from, things like that. This Blur to me is the better one of the two. It just looks cleaner, it looks sleeker, it looks faster. This feels like a pod racer from Star Wars in the sense that all the mismatched shapes and angles and different colors and things make it feel like it's kind of a machine that's been put together from the scrapyard, whereas this and this both feel like aerodynamic racing vehicles meant to go real fast. The last Blur I have that I have in my collection, and I justify it by not calling him Blur. Here we have the, what is this, RID 2015 Blur. And so here we can see like Blur's legacy of being this like fast, dynamic vehicle. And I feel like this just doesn't do a lot. It's neat that they were like, oh yeah, we want to do like the IDW design. I would have appreciated just a new mold. I get the limitations of budget and things like that, but it just doesn't do enough for the IDW design for me to like be excited about it. Then we've got Road Hauler here, and I've done a review before of my masterpiece style MMC Road Hauler, but if we want to see him next to Grapple, here we can see this is just a straight up repaint. It's basically everything that you'd expect. It's super exciting that fans got an accessible road hauler. I like that we have a little added paint here. We've got this yellow paint added in on the black stripes, whereas Grapple just left everything orange. That seems neat. For fans that really want their own road hauler, like, I mean, this is a Voyager price point figure that looks really nice and you know, easy enough to recommend. Looks nice in alt mode. Then we've got Clampdown. Clampdown is red alert again, but in Clampdown's colors, I think I gave away my Masterpiece Clampdown. I think that was like a fundraiser thing, so I don't have another Clampdown at the moment. But what I do have here is tire tracks. And tire track and Clampdown, you know, you can see the differences. This is the Earthrise mold, this is the Siege mold. I still like the Siege version better. They're obviously a remold. The Earthrise is a remold. We can see how they look together. But yeah, Clampdown looks nice if you like police Lamborghinis, and I totally get why people might be excited about them. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'll wait till we get a new mold, and then when we get a new Clampdown as a different mold than Tiger Track, then I think I'll be more excited about it. But it's neat that we got that. The last thing, of course, being Burn Out here. Burn Out is a very G1 style tracks in Diaclone colors. The black and red and that silver striping here looks really nice. That looks really, really clean. Yeah, I don't have a ton of complaints. I got maybe a minor paint defect here. The front grille being painted silver with the yellow lights and these red lights beneath. This like metallic gunmetal color here looks really good with the black. We've got tail lights. They gave us a lot to do here with this paint. It's just really nice looking all around. I also super like that we have, on top of all that paint detail, we have this transparent plastic that's been painted black. Yeah, and again, the Speedia 500 collection is really exciting to me because they all came in their vehicle mode, so it's neat to get the vehicles and then transform. I do have a tracks. I still have the Thrilling 30 tracks, so you can see the two of them compared. Obviously, if we're talking size comparisons, like in real life, it'd maybe be a little more like that. But yeah, it's two different types of hatchbacks. You know, an older design and a more modern design. I like the way they look next to each other. Like this just looks neat. It's a neat bit of history. I guess in terms of minor complaints, maybe some painted rims would be nice. But other than that, they got paint in most of the places that I want paint, and that just makes me very, very happy. And it rolls. All of them roll, of course, except for Blurr here, who slides, which is disappointing. Given that he is here representing a racing vehicle. But yeah, overall, you know, like middle, like they're repaints. They're, you know, you don't need them if you don't want them. They're minor characters mostly, or reinterpretations of more popular characters. But it's neat opportunities to get the toys we like in different paint jobs. So I think that's it. We are going to the mass transformation section. All right, with all our repeat transformations fast forwarded through, it is time for Burn Out. And here again, we've got Burn Out in alt mode. These two weapon pieces come off. This one comes off. I guess something to mention in alt mode is he does have the 3 ports. I do wish maybe we had a couple more up front, just a couple more options. But the transformation for Burn Out is super easy, just like as it is on Skids. And it's even like I didn't need the instructions, and the fact that I hadn't used the Skids before wasn't a big issue. We're going to open up the doors on the side. That lets us separate out our legs here, folding them down. We can come in, split the legs. We're going to take our arms up on each side, bringing those out, and it lets us lift up the windshield and top of the car. We have a 90-degree bend here on this joint. That little red section just comes down until it clicks. There we go. It's kind of a soft click, but it is a noticeable detent there. Coming in, closing up our shins. We've got our big stomping boots already, which the wheels can be flipped down to flatten things out. I do like that as a nice touch. Coming in up top, we've already got the arms out of the way. We're just going to bring things down. The hands are already out. And this is essentially, bring that wheel out forward, bring our arms down. And yeah, the back doesn't really like lock in anywhere. It just kind of sits back there. But we can see here is our robot mode, and he's nicely transformed. A pretty clean backpack. Comparing him to his buddies in the wave, you can see, you know, sits maybe slightly short for a deluxe, a little on the small side. But Burnout still is a nice use of this like classic 80s style hatchback vehicle, and he is nicely chunky. I guess my only complaint might be that the arms are a little on the anemic side. If we get these windows out of the way, you can see it feels like maybe the arms are a little skinny for the body, but not too skinny. Nicely done head up top. It is a little unfortunate that there's not a flat piece that is the piece of this, the hood here that could fold back or something. So it does mean we have like half of a robot head and then half is just car parts. That's a little unfortunate, but the front part does look very nicely sculpted and painted. I dig it a lot here. And yeah, we've got, I believe Burnout has a unique, this is technically a remold, right? Because that's not Skids' head. But it is a nice looking head. We do have nice articulation, good ball joint here, can waggle, do all this stuff you want it to do. The arms can go 360. They can go out that far. They can go actually even farther because of transformation, or you can get them to go out. That's a much nicer, like natural looking line, which I appreciate. There is bicep swivel here. There is a 90-degree bend here. There is wrist swivel here, which is nice. He can do not quite the full Van Damme, but pretty deep splits. Can kick all the way up front. Can't go super high because of his chest, but can still go further than 90 degrees. The back is a little limited by this back piece, but we can, if we need to, try and move it, wiggle it out of the way a little bit to get a little more articulation out of that joint. If we move it up higher, can we get, it seems to want to come back down. Nice 90-degree bend at the knee here. We do have thigh swivel. It is up top. And then we do have, you know, he can get a big, deep A stance, and his ankles are still on the ground. So, I mean, Burnout, I think, looks really great. I'm very happy with how this figure looks. I like the accessories. We've got this axe piece here. We've got this double-mounted, wrist-mounted gun piece here. And then he can hold his second gun. Ooh, if we can get it in his hand there. Yeah, so it looks really nice. Again, the paint here looks nice. A nice crisp red Autobot badge there. The black and red is a very good look. These Diaclone colors, they just work for me. And yeah, looking at the four of them together, I think it's a nice little subline of repaints. No complaints here for me. The standout is Burnout. Now, I do want to do some comparisons. I never got the Skids mold from Legacy because I already have my Thrilling 30 Skids that I'm very happy with. And looking at the two of them next to each other, I'm still very happy that I have my Thrilling 30 Skids. He's limited in articulation in certain spots, but the design, that design just, that is Skids to me. So I like having these two guys next to each other like this. That makes me really happy, being able to have both of them. Then, if we're comparing Lambos, here is Tiger Track, and we'll put Missile Launcher back on. So there we can see the two of them together. And again, I really like these cooler whites in this version of this paint scheme. But I do like Tiger Track has this warmer white to go with his yellow. I think that does a really good job of just looking nice and neat. Yeah, so next to that, like those two guys, it's obvious, you know, repaint, remold situation. But that's how they look together. And I do think I prefer if he had black hands or something. It does feel like with this soft gray plastic, it does feel a little maybe too washed out. The black accents are nice. I think I would have liked a little more. Then we've got Road Hauler here and Grapple here. And I will note, on my grapple, I guess this is a bit of a retro review. Since I've done my review in Transforming Grapple, the holes are so tight that both of my pins have sheared off. I don't know if that's a concern for Road Hauler. It feels like it's not as strong a concern, but it's right. It's this piece here, this pin, this tab, this whatever you want to call it, goes into this port, and then it's sheared off in trying to carefully remove it. It doesn't impact much, but it is something to note, which is really unfortunate about that mold, because other than that, I like everything else about it. But yeah, there's how they look together, and obviously you can see, you know, two different head sculpts. I think I like the shouty one a little more, but that might just be because of the white paint, the like gray paint versus the silver paint. I'm not sure, but that's how they look. And then of course we have a bunch of blurs to compare. Here is our, again, the reimagining of our IDW Blur, and there's that Blur head sculpt. The head sculpt I like a lot. I think that's a nice looking head sculpt, but just that body, like, I like the different versions of Blur we've got. Here we can see, you know, RID 2015. Here is animated, which I feel like has inspired a lot of the new Blur designs. Again, I just really like how sleek and tall that version looks. And then if we want to compare apples to apples, here is the IDW Blur versus the Shattered Glass Blur. And there we can see, again, two different versions of the head sculpt. I also feel like the arm piece here is a little more compact, and that's still loose. I haven't been able to manage to tighten that up. But that feels a little more compact and put together than this version. If this had a sliding mechanism or something to get this out of the way with, that is something that I do have a complaint about on the IDW Blur. But other than, oh, and you know what? There we go. Definitely missed that step. But yeah, there is how they look together. This is the only figure I think that I like don't have a super strong recommendation on. The others I think are nice repaints. This one just the alt mode, and then this bot mode, like, he needs bigger fans in the back. More needed to happen to make him really feel like IDW Blur. It doesn't really feel like IDW Blur to me. But that being said, I am doing a giveaway because I don't need all these figures. So what I ended up deciding is these three are my giveaway. Burnout is mine. I love him. He's my baby boy. I'm going to keep Burnout. But these three are going to be their own giveaway. To win these three figures, you're going to make a comment down in the comments below answering the question of the day. When you answer the question of the day, next week when I do that video, I will choose randomly one of the questions, one of the answers that wanted to enter the giveaway, and they will reach out to me on whatever social media. We are now on new social media. We are also on, so we're on Twitter, we're on Mastodon, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Reddit, we're on Discord. So there's all sorts of ways that you can reach us. But these guys are what the winner will receive. And based on like this repaints and everything, I think here's my question of the day. So the Legacy Speedia 500 toy line has all these different characters from all different universes and everything in this race, this Velocitron Speedia 500. Who is missing from the lineup? Who do you think? I mean, we've gotten crazy characters. We've gotten Override, which is awesome. It totally fits right in. We've gotten Cosmos. We've gotten these guys. We've gotten Scourge. You know, who would you want to have been in this lineup that we didn't get? Which character? And so tell me the character you want and what mold you would have repainted it from. That's the question today. You go down in the comments below, answer the question today. So which character do you wish was added in a future wave of the Speedia 500 lineup, and what is the base mold? For me, the answer I have is Shadow Striker from Cyberverse. I really want Shadow Striker to get a Legacy version toy. I think she would be great, and she'd be a great race car. And I think I'd like Shadow Striker to come from, I think she could be an extensive remold from Hot Rod, from Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, maybe. I think that would be really neat. But yeah, Shadow Striker is my answer. You answer down in the comments below, and then 1 week from today in that video, I will draw a winner, and the winner reaches out to me, and we'll get these shipped out to you. Thanks for watching, everyone.